12th of July 1975, Europa Park would open in Rust, Germany, and would entertain millions upon millions of people since then. They have a whopping 14 roller coasters and we're gonna rank them. Before we're gonna do that though, I have something to share. When I go to these theme parks, I make a bunch of footage and unfortunately, I cannot use all of that footage in these small videos. So I made a second channel and it's called Fuzzy Park Visits, and if you want to see all of the lovely shots that I made from Europa Park, head over to that channel. I already uploaded the footage there. So if you want to see all of the lovely footage that I took there and not just the footage that I'm going to use in this video, head over to that channel and I hope that you have a bunch of fun watching that. In the future, I will try to always upload all of my theme park visits over there so all of you can get a general feel of the vibe of the places. Now let us rank those coasters. At number 14, we have Ba Express. This is a kiddie coaster from Mock Rides and Art Engineering, and it opened in 2016. It has a very short layout and the train is a little bit creepy, but otherwise I think it's a pretty fun kiddie coaster. Unfortunately, with these lists, one always has to be last, and in this case, it's just Ba Coaster. Moving on to my number 13, which is probably a little bit controversial, but it's Pegasus, the youngster mag coaster, which opened in 2006. Unfortunately, I just really don't feel like this coaster has a lot of theming going for it, and knowing Europa Park, they could do a lot more there. Like, it doesn't really feel that themed, so that's why for me, it just really ranks very low, because you don't have a lot to see. It's a fun layout, yes, but otherwise, it just doesn't have a lot to it. It's a fun coaster, but nothing more. Going to my number 12, and it pretty much is the same thing as with Pegasus. There's not a lot of theming to it. That is Atlantica's Super Splash that opened in 2005. I just really don't feel that there's a lot to this ride yet again. You go up the lift hill and you take like a little dip backwards and then you go down the big drop forwards. And it is neat. It has two turntables. It's kind of cool, but it feels more like, hey, look at the ride that we got. Do you want to buy this? And not like, hey, here's a good immersive ride. So that's why it, again, ranks pretty low for me. At number 11, we have the Matterhorn Blitz. And unfortunately, I barely don't have any footage of this coaster. But yeah, the Matterhorn Blitz is a Mock Wild Mouse, which opened in 1999. And it has a unique lift hill. If I can, I will put footage of that in here. But besides the lift hill, it doesn't really have anything special going for it. It's a Mock Wild Mouse. It's a good ride. It's a fun ride. The theming is also okay this time around. They put some effort into it, but not a coaster I would particularly say that it is my priority to get onto when I visit Europa Park. Going to the Swiss area of Europa Park now for number 10, and that is the Swiss Bobbahn. And this is a Mock bobsleigh coaster from 1985. And it's cool, it's fun, but for me personally, I feel like the wait is just always a bit too long and there's not enough to do in that queue to entertain yourself. So every time I go by it and I get in line, it's just, let's get it over with, okay? Let's just do the coaster to have done it. Otherwise, I would not really do it again. Like, it's a one and done thing for me personally. Again, it's a fun ride. It just doesn't really have a lot for it. There's like one really cool helix that has some good forces. But yeah, like I said, it just really doesn't warrant the wait time to get sometimes. Sometimes you'll be standing there for like 30 to 40 minutes and that's just way too much for me. Moving to number 9, and that is the Alpen Express Enzia, a Mock powered coaster. This coaster actually operated from 1984 to 2023 until a fire struck Europa Park. Within a year, they did rebuild it, and now the coaster is standing again, and it pretty much is a whole new area of the park. And I really like it. I rode it like, I think 4 times this year already, and I really enjoy it. Unfortunately, the old version was a little bit better with like the big crystal cave that you went through. But for what it is now, it is still very good and it is so respectable that they rebuilt that, and like they rebuilt 2 entire rides within a year after that fire. So yeah, that's my number 9. For our number 8, we have to go to the middle of the park where there is a giant Epcot ball, and I just call it that because I only knew the Epcot ball until I visited Europa Park. But yeah, I call it the Epcot ball. Where from 1989 until 2018 the roller coaster Eurazet was, and in 2018 they gave it like a little retheme, a remodel to Eurozed Can coaster. It's a very fun and cool ride, which for me personally reminded me a lot of Space Mountain in Anaheim, California. And they have a lot of cool things going on in there. You have like a bunch of neon lights that go around you, and you just have a bunch to see, and it's a fun coaster. What can I say? It's a pretty fun ride. From the dark Eurozed ball to the deep blue sea, and our number 7 is Poseidon, the water coaster. This is a mock water coaster which opened back in 2000, and I think it's really, really fun, especially on hot days. Like, I went to Europa Park this year, I think like twice, and it was very, very hot. So just getting on that ride, just getting yourself sprayed with a little bit of water, it was very, very refreshing. And yeah, I really like it. I think the theming is pretty cool, and it's also a longer ride, so you have just a bunch to see and a bunch to do. And yeah, they have like some neat pirate animatronics in there, and I like it. It's a good ride. For our number 6, we go to Arthur the Ride, and this is a suspended powered coaster which opened in 2014. And it is very unique because it's a powered coaster and a dark ride at the same time. And there's just so much wild stuff going on this coaster. You have like seats that shake around if you go through certain scenes, and I really, really love this coaster. Even though I am not the target demographic, I can also tell you I am not a fan of Arthur whatsoever. I just know that it's a pretty big franchise in Europe. I don't even know if it's like big in the US. I figure not, but yeah, it's a very, very cool coaster. And if you go on that and you don't know what's happening and your seats just start to shake, it's absolutely crazy. I love it so much. The dark ride scenes are so cool. And yeah, it's a really, really great ride. Unfortunately, when it rains, the ride can't handle it that much, so you have some downtime. But with good weather, it's a really, really good ride. And if you go single rider, you usually don't have any wait at all. So yeah, Arthur the Ride at number 6. At number 5, we go to the Russian area of the park to Euromia, and it is such a cool coaster. It's a max spinning coaster, and every time I'm there, like, we are just in a good mood, because if you go on that ride and you go into the lift hill, you have this crazy awesome upbeat music, and I just love it. Like, every single time you go up there, you will have people clapping in their seats, like just to the music clapping, and it is so cool. I just love this coaster, and yeah, that's why it deserves the number 5 spot. Unfortunately, we don't know yet, but I think Euromia is about to be rebuilt or get a recheck or something. There were rumors flying around. If they do it, I really hope they do this right justice, because, oh my god, Euromia, what a awesome spinning coaster. It is great. Moving on to number 4, this is a rare instance where Europa Park did not build the ride itself, because Europa Park actually is owned by Mock Rides, and usually they build all of their stuff like themselves in-house. But yeah, Silver Star, that's my number 4, is a 2002 B&M Hyper Coaster. And again, I don't have a lot of footage of this one, simply because I cannot film Silver Star that well from inside of the park. I would have to go outside of the park, and usually when I go to Europa Park, I stay like in the village, so I don't have to go to the car park, and I just don't get a lot of footage, okay? But Silver Star is such a awesome hyper coaster. You get so much airtime on those hills. It is, I think, the biggest coaster in Germany too, and it just slaps. Like, oh my god, you get so much airtime, especially like with the restraints that you're having. It's almost like you're flying out of your seat. Of course you don't, that would be tragic, but you just get so much awesome airtime. I love it so much, and every time I'm at Europa Park, I have to do Silver Star at least once. We're moving into the top 3, isn't that crazy? And our number 3 is Blue Fire. Blue Fire is a mock launch coaster which opened in 2002, and oh my god, what a cool ride. Like, I love it. It is so cool, especially if you're near the front and you hear like the little animatronic before the launch say, he says something around the line, so uh-oh, now we have a problem. And then you're just getting shot out of there with so much force, and I love it. Blue Fire, awesome coaster. It is so great, and yeah, like I said, it is just so cool. I love the theming of the ride. I love the speed of the ride, and It's just a good ride. What do you want me to say? It's my number 3, Blue Fire. Getting to number 2, it is Wodan. And this is, again, not a ride made by Mock themselves. This is a Woody by GCI or Great Coaster International. And it was opened in 2012. And oh my god, Wodan is such a good wooden roller coaster. I love it. It doesn't overtake Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. That's still my favorite wooden coaster. But Wodan is so close to that. It is such a good Woody. And it's just amazing. Like, especially if you go into the single rider line and you just wait there for like 10-15 minutes and you get on it. It is so good. It is so fast, and especially I would say near the front, you just zip through that layout, and it is so great. There are so many bunny hops, there's so many airtime elements. It is great. I just love Wodan. I think number 1 should be obvious. I love Voltron. Voltron Evera, powered by Rimac, is the most awesome, best roller coaster I have ever ridden. It is so absolutely crazy, this ride, from start to finish. The queue is awesome. You have so many beaming elements in that queue line. You see Nikola Tesla. You have these giant Tesla coils on the ceiling that do like the Voltron thingy every so often, and it is so extremely good. I can't. I love it. I love it. From the moment you leave the station to that extremely crazy airtime moment where you just launch out of the station building to that turntable, it is so extremely good. Like, I don't even know what to add to that. It's just the best coaster in my opinion. Like, as of right now, it is my worldwide number 1 coaster. I love it so much. It is so great. And to anybody that has not been to Europa Park yet, this is your call. Go to Europa Park. Voltron is awesome. It's amazing. Go ride it right now. Book your tickets. And that was the ranking of all 14 Europa Park roller coasters. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you just enjoyed all of the footage of the coasters. And of course, that you like my opinions on these coasters. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you have your own list? Put them in the description down below. I would love to know it. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to, please consider leaving me a like and a subscribe. And of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, check out Fuzzy Park Visits if you just want to see my casual footage of going around to theme parks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all hopefully sometime soon. Bye!